Okay, just so everybody knows, Saints are going to win today. New Orleans Saints. Who dat? Sorry, all you Colts fans, but Peyton is secretly going to throw the game because his whole family's from New Orleans, but he's not going to need to because New Orleans is going to take it big time. Oh, man, I can't wait for that game. That's going to be exciting. I wanted to follow up on some more speaker tips. I didn't get to finish it. 10 minutes is too short. I wanted to show you a couple of things. Well, for one thing, the blackface amps, you can adjust the bias in them. This will follow up on the bias probe. The older amps, pre 63, I think, 60, probably 63. You can have an amp tech install a bias potentiometer in there, so you can buy any tubes, matched tubes, and put them in there. I wish I could do that. I don't like messing with them, and I don't know anybody that could do that, so I basically have to match the tubes to the amp, which gets kind of expensive because you have to buy several sets of tubes and mix and match them until you get two that run at the right voltage. But I wanted to show you a trick on these speakers, which I think is pretty helpful as far as being in phase, out of phase, and all that. This thing's a little creaky, but here are my two speakers that have two 10-inch P10Rs. This is a working, let's see, can you see that? Yeah, this is a working P10R. I've marked the positive terminal. You'd be surprised at how many of these speakers you can get. 2 or 3 of the same speakers in the same amp, and the terminals will be switched. I've had that happen. So if you wire them all the same, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be in phase. So here's a way to check it. Put your red on your positive, black on your negative. Put the black on the negative of the battery, and then you just touch the positive. Showed this in the last one, but let's see. Let's make sure we get this. I don't know if you can see the movement. You have to have a pretty strong battery. See it moving forward. See the cone moving forward. So that's the way it should move when you touch it. Now if I switch these, I'm going to switch these real quick, and it'll go backwards. You'll see it going backwards, hopefully. So what you want to be sure of is that all your speakers, you have 2, 3, 4, anything over 1, you want to be sure they're all moving in the same direction, or you'll get this weird out of phase effect, which actually can sound pretty cool. I had the Bandmaster was out of phase, had one speaker out of phase, and it had this weird spatial kind of sound to it, and I thought, man, no wonder they like these amps so much. And turns out it was wired incorrectly, which, I mean, you can do that if you want, but it cuts down on your volume and it cuts down on your bass response. So when you wire it back, you get your volume and your bass back if you get them all going together. Shoot, this one looks like the cone is kind of messed up. Either way, getting your speakers reconed is kind of iffy sometimes. I don't know if they sound as good as new speakers sometimes, but I mean it keeps the originality of the amp. So another trick, I like to use 2 amps. Let's see, can you see this? This is the Blue Bell that came out of the Bandmaster. It's got the California approved electrical sticker on it. It's a 59, been reconed. But like I said, I couldn't hear any sound coming out of it, so I took it out, and just to double check, I did the same thing to it. I don't think I have these marked. It doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, there it is, I think. Okay, this is positive. Doesn't really matter how you hook them up, as long as they're all the same. But just for demonstration purposes, we'll hook it up correctly. Positive to negative to the negative. Positive. Nothing. See? Making no sound whatsoever. It's not moving. So, speaker's gone for some reason. I will get it reconed. Tom Colvin, Weber, or maybe Orange County. I'm sure there's several others. A. Brown, Soon or Soon or something like that. I don't know. I've never used them. Don't hear much about them. But I wanted to show you a trick on the Bandmaster, or any amp really. I'm going to put the light over here. But what I was saying is I use 2 amps a lot, so you want to be sure that all your speakers on both amps, let's say you're using 2 super reverbs, you want all your speakers moving in the same direction. And that's why I like the Framptone so much, or decent amp splitter will have a phase switch on it, so you don't have to rewire the speakers or change any wiring. But what I was going to show you is you can also, once you get it all wired up, double check. Man, this is so cramped. Double check the whole amp by taking the plug out. Can you see? Taking the plug out. Putting the negative on here. This is kind of tough, but I'll put the positive on here. And you can touch that on the tip. Here all the speakers are going. And you can just look at all the speakers, make sure they're all moving the same direction. And that way you know they're all together. And you can do the same thing on your other amp. I mean, it's kind of a primitive way of doing it, but definitely will let you know if they're all going in the right direction, and then you'll get both amps working together. Alright, well, like I said, enjoy the Super Bowl. All you Colts fans might as well start crying now. I'll keep in touch. Thanks a lot.